that betrayed the family of Anne Frank to the Nazis. Anne died in a concentration camp in 1945 at the age of 15 after 2 years in hiding in Amsterdam. Her diary, published after her death, is probably the most famous first-hand account of Jewish life.
She was very chatty and she was very interested in her appearance, which I wasn't. I was a real tomboy.
On the surface, Anne Frank's diary tells a story of shattered hopes and broken dreams.
Anne Frank's diary is one of the most read, most studied books in history. The story of a young Jewish girl hiding from the Nazis in World War II.
It is seen as a deep glimpse into the mind of a normal girl enduring endless pain. But was it the full story? Now, thanks to her lifelong friend and godsister, Hanneli Goslar, finally opening up, we have a much deeper understanding of Anne's life beyond the pages of her famous book. What Hanneli Goslar has revealed is so haunting, and could that be why she kept it hidden for over 80 years? What did she reveal, and why is it so terrifying? Join us as we uncover the deepest mysteries and untold secrets of Anne Frank's life, according to her sister. Anne's early life and troubles. Long before she and Hanneli became friends in Amsterdam, little Anne Frank seemingly had all it took to lead a peaceful and happy life. Her parents were mostly caring and supportive, and with an older sister who was always looking out for her, it seemed nothing in her life could ever go wrong, but everything changed when the German forces began to attack. Sadly, these authorities at the time had only one goal in mind: create a new forceful government with a loyal following. They planned to do this by getting rid of certain groups they felt would never belong under the new regime, and one of their biggest targets at the time was the Jews. This turned out to be a huge problem because Anne's entire family was Jewish, and with the German forces attacking back then, many Jews were losing their jobs, their homes, and even their rights as human beings. Wanting to keep his family safe at all costs, Otto quit his job and ran away with his family to Amsterdam, a region in the Netherlands.
77 years ago, in this Amsterdam annex, Anne Frank, her family, and 4 others were discovered by the Nazis after more than 2 years in hiding.
This happened sometime in 1934, and by doing this, Otto believed his family would be safe for as long as possible. Sadly, he was mistaken, and his family would learn the hard way. In the meantime, Otto got his daughters to settle at a new school almost as quickly as the family settled in their new home. There, Anne and Margot made new friends who helped them adjust to the new culture, and it was there that they met another young girl named Hanneli Goslar. As the weeks passed, Anne and Hanneli became very close friends, even with their different personalities. Hanneli would later describe Anne as playful and outgoing. She loved writing and telling stories, while Hanneli always enjoyed herself simply by listening and playing along. Hanneli recalled that they spent their days playing outside and playfully gossiping about their family's funniest habits at the other person's home. Of course, it later got Anne in trouble with her parents when they found out one time, but life as it was in Amsterdam was good. Life once again took a drastic turn when the German forces invaded the Netherlands. Otto and his family couldn't run away this time, and the German forces started making life hard for the Jewish people who lived in Amsterdam. The invaders stopped Jewish children from attending public schools and forced all of them to learn together in exclusive learning facilities. Jewish families were no longer allowed to go to parks. They could no longer own businesses or even ride bicycles. The most painful part of this, according to Hanneli, was when they got separated. Anne and Margot were the first to go to a different school, and to Hanneli's little mind, her best friend had simply disappeared without saying goodbye. The strange part was that Hanneli and her family were also Jewish, but they made no plans to go into hiding. Her parents had given up hope at this point and concluded that running away wouldn't make a difference. After all, they too had tried to run away from Germany to Amsterdam to start a new life. But the German forces were smart and still caught up with them. Anne had hinted a few weeks earlier that she and her family might be leaving town, but never fully explained either why or where they were going. This happened in 1941, and by the end of the year, Anne's father, Otto, knew that things were only going to get worse. And sadly enough, he was right. Life at the labor camps. In early 1942, Otto and many of his comrades were told to start working at labor camps. Anne's elder sister, Margot, received one of those letters as well. She was just 16 years old at the time, while Anne was 12. Looking at them, their father Otto couldn't simply allow his daughters to get taken away by the German forces and used for horrible things. For their sake, he couldn't give up hope. So by July of that year, instead of sending Margot to the labor camp as the authorities instructed, Otto and his family moved into a secret apartment above a business center, someplace else in Amsterdam. Another family joined them as well, and this single-room apartment where two families lived above that hidden room up in the warehouse became known as the secret annex.
The secret annex, where the Frank family hid with the Van Pels family and Fritz Pfeffer, has been recreated and brought to New York City.
It was very small and cramped. Having privacy was a luxury, and they always had to remain silent throughout the day. The entrance was behind a movable bookshelf, and they hid so well that the workers underneath never heard a sound. The few employees who knew were kind enough to bring them food and other supplies from the outside world. Anne's 13th birthday came up during this time, and her father got her a book as a present. As an outgoing person who loved writing, she put down all her experiences in the book. She wrote about the struggles she faced as a growing girl living in close quarters without privacy and her growing tensions with her mother. She wrote about how they fought every day without screaming, her deep admiration for her father's unshakable hope, and the crush she had for the young man who lived with them. She dreamed of being a writer and hoped that her book would be published one day. Of course, there were a lot of things she didn't write, and the world never knew about it until almost 80 years later. These things were later revealed by Hanneli after meeting with some people who worked at the warehouse. Now brace yourself, because the details are quite shocking. Based on what they revealed, life was difficult for both families living up there, but everything was going fine as far as their safety was concerned. But that was until August 4th, 1944, after 2 years of hiding. Both families were betrayed by one of the workers who helped them, and that quiet morning, a group of Dutch police officers led by a high-ranking officer suddenly stormed into the warehouse. Without needing any direction, they walked up to the annex to arrest both families. There was no time to run or hide. Anne and everyone else were told to pack their things, but they weren't even allowed to do that with the little time they were given. The arrest was so sudden that Anne forgot the precious diary she had spent over a year writing. Anne and the others were taken away that morning and transferred to Westerbork. Life at the camp was a nightmare. Anne and her family were treated like criminals and forced to work all day with no rest. Otto's worst fears had come true. His wife and daughters were suffering, and there was nothing he could do about it. Worse yet, his family was treated the worst for disobeying orders and hiding from punishment. Things got worse when they were sent to another camp in Auschwitz. The journey was terrible, and it lasted 3 days. Food was so little that the older ones couldn't bring themselves to eat, while the younger ones starved from the little they had to manage. When they arrived at the camp, the men and the women were separated. Otto was sent to be with the men, while his wife and daughters were sent with the other women. All their belongings were taken away, and all the women were forced to shave their heads, while those who watched laughed. They were given rags to wear instead of normal clothes, and had to drink untreated water most of the time to stay alive. When they fell sick, almost nobody cared enough to give them treatment. Worse yet, by October of that year, Anne and Margot were taken away from their parents to work at Bergen-Belsen, and it became the worst camp they ever lived in. The untold stories of Anne's life. Their mother, Edith, was left behind in Auschwitz, where she died from starvation in January of the following year.
The teenager likely died of typhus in a Nazi concentration camp in February 1945 as opposed to March 1945.
As for the children, they were forced to live in a place that was overcrowded with people suffering from various diseases. Getting food was a luxury, and life was as difficult as it could be. but there was hope on the horizon. Sometime in early 1945, living in the same camp, but separated by a barbed wire fence, was Anne's childhood friend Hanneli. Their reunion was bittersweet, and there was a lot to talk about. It was there that Anne explained everything that happened. As they leaned on opposite sides of the wall, Anne narrated all that happened from the moment they got separated in Amsterdam as children up to what happened that evening. Anne told Hanneli that she had lost hope at this point, believing everyone in her family was dead at that point, except Mathit. On top of that, Anne believed she had caught the spreading disease, and without proper treatment, she would be joining them soon. Many years later, Hanneli described the moment as heartbreaking. The once happy and outgoing Anne now sounded weak and frail, like a shell of her former self. After hearing Anne's story, Hanneli tried to throw her food over the fence, but a guard took it away, and sadly, that was their last conversation. About 2 weeks later, both sisters caught the typhus disease. Margot died first, and Anne joined her a few days later in early March 1945. Their bodies were thrown in a mass grave about a week later, but that wasn't even the saddest part. The day Anne died was just about a month before British soldiers attacked the German forces in charge of Bergen-Belsen and released thousands of Jews and other mistreated prisoners on April 15th. What's worse is that the Soviets had released all the prisoners in Auschwitz camp earlier that year, and Anne's father, Otto, was one of them. Both sisters died without knowing their father had survived, and he never got to see them after they got separated by the German forces. With his newfound freedom, Otto traveled back to Amsterdam in June and went to their old home. There, he reunited with Mape Geese, one of the employees who helped his family at the secret annex. Hoping she would have the chance to return it after they got arrested, Mape gave him Anne's old diary. When Otto saw it, he was so heartbroken that he couldn't read it. But when he did a few days later, he realized just how much Anne took notice of the smallest sacrifices he made, and how much she truly loved and cared about him despite his mistakes. Long before he traveled back, he was told that Anne and Margot had died of the typhus disease, and to honor Anne's wish to become a writer, he did all he could to get the book published as her memoir. The book was published under the title, Diary of a Young Girl.
And this is the first time ever that Anna's diary has been seen by anyone outside the Frank family.
The book didn't sell well at first, as all it did was bring back painful memories of the war to most of those who read it. But by the mid-50s, it sold enough copies to get translated into multiple languages, and by the late 60s, the book had sold almost 10 million copies across the world in almost 40 languages. As for Otto, he died on August 19, 1980, from lung cancer. In the years leading to his death, he and Hanneli remained in touch. They encouraged each other each time the post-traumatic stress felt impossible to control. He shared all the painful details that never made it to the diary, including the days of unbearable hunger, the bitter fights between both families in the annex, and the day he confirmed his entire family was gone. For decades, she kept the story to herself, but let the world know about it just a few months before she passed away as well on October 28, 2022. Tell us what you think. Is that all there is to the untold parts of Anne Frank's life, or could there be more to this than meets the eye? The discovery of a new fragment of the Book of Enoch has sent shockwaves through historians, theologians, and conspiracy theorists alike. From the Joe Rogan Experience diving deep into this revelation, to Mel Gibson's rumored interest in ancient texts, and Elon Musk's cryptic comments about Nephilim and hidden truths, this story has everything. These newly found writings expose chilling secrets about humanity's origins, divine beings, and apocalyptic prophecies. What's inside the book will leave you questioning everything.
Joe Rogan. Experience, JRE. The Joe Rogan Experience, JRE, has become a platform for discussing some of the most fascinating and controversial topics, and the discovery of a new fragment of the Book of Enoch has certainly caught the spotlight. Joe Rogan, known for his deep curiosity, and willingness to dive into fringe ideas.
The Bible is trying to say. Because if you think about the Bible, right, and if all these people are correct about the original history of sophisticated civilization,
Recently explored the chilling revelations found in this ancient text. The Book of Enoch, which speaks of fallen angels, interdimensional beings, and their hybrid offspring, the Nephilim, has captivated audiences for its mysterious and supernatural insights. Rogan's discussions around these revelations have sparked widespread interest and debate, blending ancient stories with modern-day implications. The newly unearthed fragment of the Book of Enoch reportedly reveals even more shocking details about the Nephilim, the rebellion of the Watchers, fallen angels, and Enoch's journey through heaven and hell. These tales describe the Watchers teaching forbidden knowledge to humans, leading to chaos and destruction on Earth. Rogan's podcast brought these concepts to life, blending historical perspectives with speculative theories about how these ancient beings might still influence humanity today. What makes this episode even more interesting is the connection to figures like Elon Musk and Mel Gibson. Musk, famous for his futuristic pursuits, has made cryptic comments about humanity's hidden past and the possibility of ancient advanced civilizations. Some speculate that his interest in technologies like Neuralink and space exploration could tie into uncovering the mysteries of the Nephilim. Meanwhile, Mel Gibson, known for his fascination with religious themes, has been rumored to show interest in producing a project related to these biblical narratives. Though not directly involved, his history with bold religious storytelling adds another layer of intrigue to the discussion. The episode also touched on modern conspiracy theories, including the possibility that governments are hiding evidence of Nephilim DNA or artifacts, like the alleged Tomb of Gilgamesh.
Nephilim were there on Earth before the flood and also after the flood. These mysterious ancient beings, mixed breeds of fallen angel and human DNA.
This blend of ancient myths and modern science raises questions about whether the Book of Enoch holds hidden truths about humanity's origins or serves only as fascinating folklore. The Joe Rogan Experience continues to push boundaries by connecting ancient mysteries like the Book of Enoch with modern science, technology, and culture. With its mix of history, speculation, and storytelling, the episode leaves listeners questioning what is fact, what is fiction, and what could still be uncovered about our mysterious past. New Book of Enoch Fragment. The recent discovery of a new Book of Enoch fragment has ignited excitement among historians, theologians, and anyone curious about ancient secrets. This fragment appears to provide fresh insight into Enoch's mysterious journey, his encounters with heavenly beings, and his warnings about the fallen angels known as the Watchers. Many believe these pages expand on prophecies and visions already linked to Enoch, suggesting previously unknown details that might shake up our view of early biblical history. Enoch, a key figure mentioned in the Bible, was said to have walked with God so closely that he never tasted death. According to ancient texts, he was taken into heaven alive, granted visions of both the cosmos and the fate of humankind. He reportedly explored the structure of creation, including the paths of the sun, moon, and stars. These topics have long fascinated people, especially when it comes to Enoch's claims about angelic forces and their interactions or rebellions against divine order. In this newly found fragment, emphasis is placed on how certain Watchers taught humans forbidden knowledge, including the secrets of the heavens, and even methods of manipulating nature. Some suggest these teachings led to the birth of the Nephilim, giant offspring of angels and humans, whose great size and power brought chaos to the earth. The fragment appears to provide rarer details about these giants, describing how they distorted the balance between the spiritual and physical worlds. What makes this discovery even more interesting is the ongoing speculation that there might be connections to modern issues. Some see parallels in present-day genetic science, artificial intelligence, and other advanced fields, recalling Enoch's warnings about how powerful knowledge can be both a blessing and a curse. Echoes in the text about a destructive flood sent to cleanse the world also stir debate about environmental crises in our time, prompting people to wonder if these deliberate parallels are cautionary tales. For believers in the Book of Enoch, this updated fragment supports the idea that Enoch's writings played a significant role in ancient Jewish and early Christian thought. Others, who view these texts more symbolically, see the new fragment as a powerful myth that underlines ethical lessons, that knowledge unrestrained by wisdom can lead to disaster. Regardless of one's perspective, the new Book of Enoch fragment challenges us to revisit old assumptions and remain open to the hidden chapters of our shared past. Whether factual history or spiritual allegory, Enoch's message continues to spark lively conversation about faith, cosmic order, and the enduring mysteries of creation. Mel Gibson's connection. Mel Gibson has long been a controversial figure, particularly in the world of religion and ancient mysteries. Known for his work on the Passion of the Christ, Gibson's deep interest in biblical stories and spiritual themes makes him a name that often surfaces in discussions about newly discovered ancient texts, such as the Book of Enoch. While Gibson has not officially commented on the recent discovery of a new fragment of the Book of Enoch, his past fascination with spiritual and apocalyptic themes suggests he could be intrigued by its revelations. Gibson's connection to the topic lies in the parallels between his creative works and the themes found in the Book of Enoch. His exploration of divine judgment, humanity's struggle with morality, and the conflict between good and evil mirrors much of what the Book of Enoch reveals. The text, which delves into the stories of fallen angels, known as the Watchers, the creation of the Nephilim, and Enoch's celestial journey, aligns with the dramatic and spiritual storytelling Gibson is known for. It's easy to see why some speculate that he might take an interest in adapting such a story for film or further study. There are even rumors that Mel Gibson has been working on a project related to angels and fallen beings, which could connect to the themes of the Book of Enoch. Given his past success in bringing biblical narratives to the big screen, it wouldn't be surprising if these newly discovered fragments inspired him to create something bold and thought-provoking. A movie or documentary exploring the Book of Enoch's mysterious tales of rebellion, divine punishment, and heavenly secrets would certainly resonate with his filmmaking style. While there is no concrete evidence of Gibson's involvement with the Book of Enoch, his reputation for tackling controversial and spiritual topics puts him in the spotlight whenever ancient religious discoveries make the news. With his ability to weave complex stories of faith, morality, and divine intervention, Mel Gibson could be the perfect person to bring the chilling and awe-inspiring revelations of the Book of Enoch to modern audiences. For now, fans of both Gibson and the Book of Enoch can only speculate. But one thing is clear: if Mel Gibson ever decided to tackle the mysteries of Enoch, it would be a project that would capture global attention and spark intense discussion. Elon Musk's fascination with ancient mysteries. Elon Musk is one of the world's most innovative minds, constantly challenging the boundaries of science and technology. While he's best known for his work with Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink, Musk has also shown a surprising interest in ancient mysteries, sparking curiosity among fans and conspiracy theorists alike. His fascination with topics like advanced ancient civilizations, extraterrestrial life, and even the Nephilim.
The Nephilim, they were not allowed to still continue on the Earth. They were chained up.
Has led many to wonder if Musk's futuristic ambitions are connected to unlocking secrets from humanity's ancient past. One of the most intriguing aspects of Musk's fascination with ancient mysteries is his casual references to topics that most people dismiss as myths. During interviews, Musk has hinted at the possibility of lost civilizations and extraterrestrial involvement in human history. For example, he once mentioned the Nephilim, the mysterious giants described in the Bible and the Book of Enoch, as a topic worth exploring. Musk's comment, "There's a lot we don't understand about our history," left fans speculating about whether his interest in space exploration might be connected to uncovering humanity's forgotten origins. Musk's work with Neuralink and SpaceX also raises questions about his potential role in solving ancient mysteries. Neuralink, which aims to enhance human intelligence by connecting the brain to computers, could potentially help access forgotten or hidden knowledge. Meanwhile, SpaceX's mission to explore Mars and beyond has sparked theories that Musk might be searching for evidence of advanced ancient civilizations, whether on Earth or elsewhere in the universe. Some even suggest that Musk's obsession with colonizing Mars might be tied to uncovering secrets about humanity's distant past, possibly linked to extraterrestrial visitors. Another layer to Musk's fascination comes from his warnings about artificial intelligence and genetic engineering. Musk has repeatedly spoken about the risks of tampering with forces we don't fully understand. This concern mirrors the stories in the Book of Enoch, where the Watchers, fallen angels, teach forbidden knowledge to humans, leading to destruction. Could Musk see parallels between these ancient warnings and modern advancements in science? Whether Musk's interest in ancient mysteries is purely intellectual or part of a larger plan, it's clear that he's not afraid to ask big questions. His willingness to explore the unknown, both in the past and the future, inspires curiosity and pushes the boundaries of what we know about humanity's origins and destiny. Interdimensional beings and the Watchers. The concept of interdimensional beings has fascinated humanity for centuries, and the Book of Enoch provides one of the most compelling narratives about such entities. In this ancient text, the Watchers are described as a group of angels tasked with guiding and protecting humanity. However, their story takes a dark turn when many of them rebel against their divine purpose, descending to Earth and altering the course of human history forever. The Watchers, led by a figure named Samyaza, defied God's will by taking human women as their wives. This union resulted in the birth of the Nephilim, a race of giant hybrid beings of immense strength and power. These giants brought chaos and destruction to the Earth, teaching humans forbidden knowledge, including weapon-making, sorcery, and astrology. The Watchers' actions, as described in the Book of Enoch, blurred the lines between the celestial and earthly realms, creating a lasting impact on humanity. Many interpret the Watchers and their offspring, the Nephilim, as interdimensional beings. They are believed to exist beyond the physical world, capable of crossing between dimensions, which might explain their supernatural abilities and influence over human affairs. Some theories suggest that these beings had a deeper purpose, perhaps to manipulate or experiment with humanity, while others argue they were simply acting on their own desires. The notion of summoning interdimensional beings adds another layer of intrigue to the story of the Watchers. Ancient rituals, often involving symbols like pentagrams and holy water, were said to invoke these entities. While portrayed as myth in modern times, some believe such practices were attempts to interact with the Watchers or similar beings. However, the Book of Enoch warns of the dangers of tampering with forces beyond human comprehension, highlighting the devastating consequences of the Watchers' rebellion. In the end, the Watchers were punished for their disobedience. They were cast into eternal darkness, bound and imprisoned until the final judgment. The Nephilim, their offspring, were wiped out in the Great Flood, as described in both the Book of Enoch and the Bible. Yet their legacy endures in myths, legends, and even modern theories about interdimensional beings. The story of the Watchers and their fall serves as a cautionary tale about power, responsibility, and the consequences of crossing boundaries between different realms. It leaves us questioning: are these beings merely myths, or do they hint at something far more profound about the nature of the universe? Government conspiracies and hidden truths. The idea of hidden truths and government conspiracies has always intrigued people. From ancient secrets to modern-day cover-ups, the belief that powerful organizations are concealing important information has fueled countless theories. One of the most mysterious stories tied to government conspiracies is the recent discovery of ancient texts, such as the Book of Enoch, and the potential hidden truths they may reveal. The Book of Enoch, an ancient religious text, speaks about the Watchers, fallen angels who descended to earth, taught forbidden knowledge, and created hybrid beings known as the Nephilim. These stories of divine rebellion, interdimensional beings, and ancient secrets have captivated many. But what if these ancient accounts hold more truth than myth? Some believe governments across the world are actively suppressing information that could connect the dots between the past and the present. One example of such a theory relates to the Iraq War.
Let us know in the comments down below. If you want to know more stories like this one, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click on this other story showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.